The Undertaker has doubled down on previous comments regarding the WWE locker room. An injured SmackDown superstar is set to return after WrestleMania 38, and an NXT superstar could be leaving very soon. More on that later on. What's going on, everyone? Back again, it's the True Jody. I am from up here, and I put on a bad Jody. What's going on, everyone? It's the True Jody, back again with the Deed Man, the Undertaker.
That's actually frightening.
No, it wasn't that
as in,
good,
like,
right?
I would not like to meet you in a back alley with that accent right there.
Because I've got the Undertaker as me big pal. Andrew, the Undertaker was on the True Geordie YouTube channel, the podcast / sort of interview series that he does with a lot of big names, including Alan Shearer and others as well. But Undertaker's one of them. True Geordie doesn't really sound like, to the layman.
What does he sound like?
To the layman, to the non-Northeasterner, he does sound like that.
Yeah.
But I don't think he actually does sound like that. But yeah, no, he had a huge guest, the Undertaker.
He did,
of course. True Geordie's made no secret of the fact that he is a wrestling fan, especially earlier on in life and stuff. I don't know how much he keeps up with it now, but he had the Undertaker on, and the big thing that Undertaker said that made headlines is kind of a doubling down, isn't it, of a previous comment where he hated gamers.
It is indeed. So this is from the chat. Undertaker said, I feel like there's a level of grit that's missing from today's product. I don't know that it's anybody's fault. We all aged out and that new group has come up. When you watch Brock Lesnar wrestle, you're interested because, you know, he's got this background not only as an amateur wrestler, professional wrestler, mixed martial artist. Brock doesn't do a bunch of crazy moves. Brock manhandles your ass. Roman Reigns has a little bit of that to him, and when he wants to, Randy Orton has that to him when he wants to. But a lot of the younger talent, it's the evolution of that comic book era, the superhero era, and I think that's their motivation, and that's what their inspiration is, and they didn't have to come up and bust heads in bars and figure out how they were going to eat and things like that.
So Undertaker is equating, right, a lack of hardship growing up or coming up in the business to some sort of like sense of that's why backstage is all soft and fluffy.
Apparently.
First of all, just because they don't shout about having bar fights and stuff doesn't mean that all of these superstars had a really privileged upbringing.
And that's the first thing I went to as well. Like, so what if some of them read comics? Like, that doesn't mean that they didn't struggle to eat or get anywhere, you know? Like, they had to put a lot of effort in. I'm sure as much work as anybody else has had to put in.
It's like Undertaker, I think, has mixed up, right? Because it's probably predominantly guys younger than him, because nearly everyone at the time was younger than him in his later days in WWE. They're all being nice to each other and playing games backstage. And he's thinking, well, me and Terry Fung and the lads, we were all in bars busting heads. And he's thought old equals grizzled and hardship, and young equals nerdy and comics and softness and entitlement. But the whole thing, you can't slice it that evenly, I don't think.
No, I don't think so either. I really don't think so. Obviously, you know, I mean, times have obviously changed. We've said this multiple times when this Undertaker stuff has come up before, and it's like, back in the day, guns and knives and that, dead good. And it's like, well, you know, thankfully things have changed, and things aren't as dangerous as that anymore. Also, when he was talking about, you know, I don't think that's anybody's fault that there's a level of grit missing from the product, but we know that WWE is kind of more family focused now too.
Exactly. I don't think that you can blame that on the roster. No, that's on the TV deal and the sponsors and just the changing of the times. If you look at AEW, they've got plenty of nerdy boys and girls in their promotion, but they go out and have some way grittier matches than WWE often will put on. So I really think that he's either gotten confused or, more likely, he just hates young people and nerds.
Bloody PlayStation.
And he's projecting it, He's just being a bit of a dad, isn't he?
Back in my day, we used to play GTA for real.
I'll tell you what we used to do back in my day, in the Attitude Era and earlier, we'd pretend to hold court backstage to make the new people feel bad. What? And buy us whiskey.
Strange.
Love whiskey and motorcycles. Okay, so... moving swiftly on, another major WWE superstar is set to return from injury after WrestleMania. We talked in our previous news video today, check that out if you haven't already, about the possibility of Bobby Lashley coming back earlier than anticipated. Well, another superstar, according to PW Insider, is Bayley, who could be coming back sooner than anticipated, but still after WrestleMania. She was at a Brooklyn Nets game. I'm moving the Nets to BK, in the words of Jason Z.
I have no idea what you just said.
You know, Ball So Hard, Wanna Find Me? I'm moving the Nets to BUK. Jay-Z's got a share in the Brooklyn Nets and he moved them to Brooklyn.
Oh, is that what that's about?
Sorry, okay. Bailey was there. Bailey was at the game. She was helping promote this Friday's SmackDown. PW Insider have reported on this, haven't they, Andrew?
They have, yeah. So Bailey has been out of action, obviously. This is what PW Insider reports, sorry. Bailey has been out of action since last summer after suffering a torn ACL while training at the WWE Performance Center, and as of late has made other promotional appearances for WWE to help push WrestleMania in the Dallas market. She is expected to return to action within the next month or so, likely after WrestleMania 38.
I've missed Bailey.
Me too.
On TV.
Absolutely. I mean, it goes without saying she was one of the MVPs of the pandemic era.
Yeah.
She was so funny. I think the gimmick change was very much needed, and she doubled down on it, and it really paid off for her.
Yeah.
You know, for someone who's obviously was very well known as like the big baby face, this hugger, like she really did a good job with the heel turn and made it her own. And at the same time, yes, she's a heel. People love it as well, don't they? That's
I think
the thing.
so, yeah.
Like they love it. Like they love it when she's a babyface. They love it when she's a heel. So it's like,
well, that's not a
perfect.
real heel, brother.
Wow.
Real heels don't care about being cool. They care about whiskey and wrestler's court. But yes, I'm very much looking forward as well to Bailey being back on our screens. A legendary member of Bailey's WWE Women's Division. I'm trying to make links between these stories.
You're doing a good job.
Thank you. Is Mickie James, of course.
Yes.
One of WWE's most iconic wrestlers of women's wrestlers of the 2000s.
Yeah.
At a time when women's wrestling wasn't afforded the respect it deserved.
No.
So she did a really good job.
She did.
She is about to make her debut in a very different environment in GCW as part of Joey Janela's Spring Break 6 during WrestleMania 38 weekend. She's going to be taking on Ali Catch, formerly known as Ali Cat, but now she's a Catch. There's Catch Can.
Catch Can.
Shooter.
Rastlahan.
As part of the first 2-night Spring Break event. Loads of big matches on this one. Thursday's lineup is thus, but there's 2 nights, of course. Check them out. But Blake Christian versus AR Fox, that'll be fast-paced.
That will be lovely.
Yes. The GCW Ultraviolet champion Alex Cologne, defending against John Wayne. Just words, man. Just words going on. Alex Cologne, excuse me, taking on John Wayne Murdoch. The GCW Tag Team Champions, the Hate Club versus the Briscoes versus the Second Gear Crew. Joey Janela versus X-Pac.
Oh, what's going to happen here? The heat's going to be hot, brother.
I'm excited because X-Pac can still kind of go.
Do you know what? He's pretty damn good still.
He really is. And also the GCW World Champion, Jon Moxley, of course, defending against AJ Gray.
Lovely.
But that's just night 1 of 2.
That's amazing.
I know, it's crazy.
The way you said that was so good.
I know. But also, Mickie James is taking on Ali Catch as well. It's good to see stars the level of Mickie James getting involved. Joey Janela's Spring Break's become kind of its own like phenomenon. It's grown over the years. The pandemic put a bit of a stop to all of that. Now it's back.
And they're doing a good job as well, like coming back and actually like with the big shows that they've had so far. They're doing a good job and bringing everyone back in, and I think a lot more eyes as well. We've had like crossovers with AEW and stuff. Obviously, Ruby Soho was against Ali Catch as well, and we had that amazing promo too from Ali Catch talking about like how she grew up and how she's got to where she is, and then
I've not seen that.
Oh, it's really good. It's just before like it was all to build up to the match with Ruby Soho, so I'm kind of hoping something like this happens again. That match was good, like between her and Ruby Soho, and I'm thinking this one's going to be a good one as well.
Sounds very good. And finally, an NXT superstar is possibly leaving WWE very soon, but we don't really know for certain, but it's certainly
a possibility.
Fightful Select has learned that 31-year-old NXT UK superstar Flash Morgan Webster's WWE contract was set to expire last month, and that contract negotiations have now stalled. Fightful also say that they were told that Flash Morgan Webster is working with a short-term extension right now, but that's up very soon as well. They say that those they've spoken to claim that he rejected the initial renewed offer. It's worth noting that Flash has been out of action since October last year with a shoulder injury and is set to return around June. So that's probably a factor as well, I guess.
I guess so. It seems like things have obviously stalled for Mark Andrews a little bit as well, and Danny Luna too, because they're all part of the subculture together, and they're obviously Flash Morgan Webster and Mark Andrews are a huge prominent tag team in the tag team division of NXT UK.
One of the UK takeovers, they had they were part of an amazing, I think it was a 3-team possibly tag team match, but they had a great feud with the Grizzled Young Vets.
Oh my God, it was really amazing.
Good. Yeah.
Really, really good. So it's a shame to see this happen as well. And, you know, like, it obviously seems to be that WWE value them as a tag team rather than separate single stars. So I guess now that Flash Morgan Webster could potentially be out of the picture, what does that mean for Mark Andrews and Danny Luna as well?
I don't know. I get the aligning of Flash Morgan Webster and Mark Andrews in particular in the tag team division. But they can also be singles. One's a mod and one's a pop punk boy.
Well, they were like, I remember when this happened, and then they were like, okay, Mark Andrews is gonna sort of embark on this singles run now, and I think he had a match against Jordan Devlin, lost, and that's pretty much been it since 2021. Okay. There's been nothing else sort of from that, so which is a shame. But you know,
it's a shame for Mark Andrews, but it's a shame for Flash Morgan Webster as well.
It is definitely.
I hope that if he does indeed leave and his contract expires, that he finds that he just really goes on to continue to succeed on the indie scene as he did before.
Yeah, me too.
NXT UK because man, he's a really good talent. I know he's had issues with injuries in the past as well, but whenever he gets going, he's so quick in the ring and so good. Yeah,
hence
really,
Flash.
Well, Flash Morgan Webster. Thank you very much for watching this news video. We've been Jack and Andrew. Check out, as I mentioned, the earlier one today if you haven't seen it already, and leave your thoughts and opinions on any of those news stories in that comment section down below. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you very soon.